Here we go, friends. Time for another one. I was gonna talk to you about a Christmas present I got, and but first we gotta talk about it's cause I seen Noel there, garden tractor and firewood there. I forget the exact name. But he's in his garage and he's doing these nice fires, and he's even cooking on the stove there. And I just said to myself, it's kind of humid this morning. And I said, I said in my mind, if I had a wood stove, I'd make a small fire, kind of cut the humidity in here, eh? But here in the big city, to have a wood stove in a garage where you park vehicles, it's kind of a pretty big ordeal. It's, well, if you follow all the bylaws, eh? It's, well, it's the world we live in, eh? There's regulations, and I think the whole problem is with the insurance. They're the ones driving this, eh? You can't do this and you can't do that, and if you do this, or the worst of it all, you can put a stove in your garage. If nothing ever happens, you'll just pay your insurance and you think you're insured and you're all right. But you know, when you know that you shouldn't have done it, it's when something happens, fire catches in the garage, burns your vehicle, and then you say, ooh, ha ha, you have a wood stove in your garage. Did you get a permit to install that? And is that installed according to the regulations? Then you know who runs the show. I had a few fires when I was younger in my garage, so I always tried to do them the way they were supposed to be done. And what happens is that first of all, the stove has to be 4 feet from the ground, okay? Because the vapors, the gas vapors, stick in low-lying areas, eh? So the stove has to be 4 feet off the ground. Okay, the firebox. That's the one criteria. Then you have to have an approved chimney. Then the stove has to be ULC, Hershey Warnock approved. And once you've complied with it all, then you gotta clean your chimney once or twice a year, and never ends, see? So I don't got no, but I got one at the camp. See, even to have one in the house, eh? Oh, you gotta jump through I don't know how many hoops. But anyways, hey, this has nothing really to do with today. Today's video is, I got a Christmas present, okay? And we're going to open this, but I don't know if we're going to make it to the Christmas present. We got I had bought a lot, okay? It's a city lot here in the big city, and I was going to build a house, and okay, so the lot 65 by 240. It's a nice city lot, and there's, if I remember right, 110 trees, various sizes, but no good trees, no hardwood trees. It was all poplar, I think it was. But my father-in-law was alive then, and he had one of his buddies lived about 2 blocks from where I had this lot, eh? And he was heating with wood, eh? And I'm going to tell you a story about this guy. The big stuff, eh? Oh no, the bigger stuff we just piled at the back of the lot, eh? Because I was going to put wood stove in the garage at the back. But all the branches, 110 or 115 trees, there's a lot of branches, eh? So I had a trailer and we'd pile them and cinch them down in the trailer, eh? So I'd send the father-in-law had a, what was a GM, a little small truck, forget the name. I forget the name, with a little pickup, eh? But it was four-wheel drive, and he could pull this trailer like nothing, eh? So I'd send him to his friend's place to dump the trailer, eh? Better than going to the dump and paying $50 a load, eh? So he'd dump, and he'd come back, and we'd load another bunch of branches in the trailer. I think we'd done around 25 loads. But this guy, this was an old guy. He was raised at the same little place that father-in-law was raised. So they went to school together. They knew each other. And this guy was an old-time plumbers in the days of cast iron. Anyways, and this old guy, I guess he still had the business. He had 3 sons, eh? But and they used to manage it was a prosperous business. They used to install sewers like from the street to the new houses there, and if it was a hard one to do, like in rock and things like that, he was the one to call, eh? Like he had a shovel. It was a Lieber, but I forget the number, eh? But it was a strong. He had a Ramo for the front, eh? And the whole 9 yards for this shovel. He's well equipped, and this shovel was strong, eh? And working rock there, it was nothing for him, eh? And he had a tandem. He had everything to do, like the sewer and water connections from house to new services in the street, and that's what he done. And his 3 sons were in that. But anyway, this guy, you wouldn't think, eh? This guy had a pretty old house. He lived alone in it. I think he lived just in one room, in the same room that the stove was in, eh? And he had, because first time I went with my father-in-law, and we visited, and he introduced me to him, and he had it was a thing to cut paper. They used to have that in primary school there, and you push the paper, and he'd cut a bunch of paper, right? So he'd cut branches, like the branches, he'd cut them up in usable length, and he'd pack them in these, either a plastic bag, pack them real tight in the plastic, or the brown paper bags, eh? And that's all he'd use to feed, and the bigger branches, he'd stack those to the side, eh? Because those were direct feed. I guess he must have stayed awake all night feeding that stove. But my God, it must have taken, I must have had to put one of those bags in about every 10 minutes or something like that, eh? It'd just go up in flames like nothing, eh? But hey, he took all 20-some loads of branches, eh? And he took them, eh? So you couldn't beat that. He's long gone now. Father-in-law's deceased, and this old guy's deceased. But in the day, and these guys, there was one of the sons didn't get along with the other guys, eh? But all he'd do was dig in-ground swimming pools, eh? That was he worked for contractors, swimming pool contractors, eh? I don't know what he did, come to think of it, in the wintertime. I guess unemployment insurance, eh? But anyways, this guy, you just tell him the size and you pick at the corners of the swimming pool. He'd dig the deep end, the shallow end, everything, like do the sides. He was real handy with a backhoe, eh? And pile of earth to the side, and he done maybe 3 or 4 different pools for me, in-ground pools, So that was a handy one to have. Anyways, where are we going with this, Anyways, I just saying I cut down 115 trees and I got rid of it all except the bigger wood. I stowed it in a pile, and half of it was rotten by the time it got to the stove. And the garage I built, and this was a remote at the back of the lot garage. It was a pretty fancy garage. It was all the brick all around, and it was pretty big. It was 28 by 32, I think it was, if I remember right. But I didn't park a car. I had a 2-car garage with the house, and this was just a put around type of garage. It's just a place to work and to stow the good stuff away. So, I heat some wood in there. I used to, but I had an alternative. Like I'd keep it from freezing with electric heat, and then when I'd go in there, I'd go in and make a little wood fire, and that was handy to have. But so I see these guys with their wood stoves in the garage there, and I think if I had one, it's maybe jealousy is what it is. That's it. I don't think I'm gonna have a wood stove here in my garage. It's just won't happen. Too much to go through all the, I was going to say a word I don't think we're allowed. We'll just say bull that we have to go through with the city, and I'm sure it's insurance related, The insurance, they're so scared of anything. Well, they're scared of paying, They don't mind collecting, but they're scared of paying, That's the whole thing. But anyways, looks like we won't get to the Christmas Christmas present at this shot, so there'll be another one after this one. We'll get to the Christmas present. We're going to open this up and see what we can do with it. Okay, folks, that's it. As usual, this is your chance to subscribe to this valuable channel and hear more stories from Gator. Because this is the time of year, We try to put something solid in there, but we got to fill in the blanks with story time with Gator. Okay, that's it. So, stay tuned. I will see you in the next one.